Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good morning. Today we are continuing with our Bible readings. I am again reading out of the scriptures. This is the fancy version, the large print, because my eyeballs aren't getting any younger. We are in Genesis chapter 7. We're also going to do 8 and 9. But starting with chapter 7. And Yahweh said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female. And of the beasts that are unclean, 2, a male and his female. And of birds of the heavens, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I am sending rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth all that stands that I created." And Noah did according to all that Yahweh commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are unclean, and of birds and of all that creep on the earth, 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as Elohim had commanded Noah. And it came to be after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. They and every life form after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every wing. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as Elohim had commanded them, and Yahweh shut him in. And the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And the waters were mighty and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the heavens were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died, the creeping creatures on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every swarming creature that swarms on the earth, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and bird of the heavens, and they were wiped off from the earth. And only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark, and the waters were mighty on the earth 150 days. So it rained for 40 days, but the waters were high for 150 days. Or the waters were mighty. Anyway. I find it interesting that before the Bible has gotten to a point where it tells you what beasts are clean and what beasts are unclean, it says Noah took 7 pairs of the clean beasts, 7 pairs of the birds, and only 1 pair or 2 of the unclean. Coffee. I find that very interesting. But that is the end of chapter 7. Chapter 8. And Elohim remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. And the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heaven were stopped, and the rain from the heavens was withheld. And the waters receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of the 150 days, the waters diminished. And in the 7th new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased steadily until the 10th new moon. In the 10th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, the tops of the mountains became visible. And it came to be at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent out a raven, which kept going out and turning back until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for its feet and returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of all the earth. So he put out his hand and took it and pulled it back into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. And the dove came to him in the evening, and see, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. And he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, which did not return to him again. And it came to be in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the new moon, that the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and saw the surface of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd new moon, on the 27th day of the new moon, the earth was dry. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every life form of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, all creeping creatures, the creeping creatures on the earth. And let them teem on the earth, and bear and increase on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping creature, and every bird, whatever creeps on the earth according to their kinds, went out of the ark. And Noah built a slaughter place to Yahweh, and took of every clean beast and of every clean bird, and offered ascending offerings on the slaughter place. And Yahweh smelled a soothing fragrance, and Yahweh said in his heart, Never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again strike all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. That is the end of chapter 8. So Noah and everybody gets off the ark after a long time on the boat. That would be a very long time to be on a boat, just saying. But the first thing Noah does is make a slaughter offering to Yah, out of the clean animals, of course. I do find that interesting. Chapter 9. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, Be fruitful, and increase, and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the heavens, on all that creep on the ground, and on all the flesh of the sea. Into your hand they have been given. Every creeping creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all, as I have gave the green plants. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. But only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it, and from the hand of man. From the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood is shed. For in the image of Elohim has he made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase, bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase on it. And Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living being that is with you, of the birds, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, for all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again is there a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, this is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living being that is with you for all generations to come. I shall set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. And it shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. And I shall remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living being of all flesh, and never again let the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I shall see it, to remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living being of all flesh that is on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. And the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and all the earth was overspread from them. And Noah, a man of the soil, began and planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine, and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. But their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, cursed is Canaan, let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. And he said, blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. And that is the end of chapter 9. There's a great line in a movie that I've always loved. The movie is called Dogma. And it's kind of religious, but mostly not. You'd have to see it to understand. But there's a line that says, Noah was a drunk, and look what he accomplished. None of us are perfect. Yeshua was the only one who was perfect. The rest of us, we struggle every day. But Noah was seen as a righteous man because he did what he was told. But he was still a drunk. Everyone has their faults. So don't think just because you have a fault that may seem big to you that you can't go on and do great things with Yahweh. Because with Yahweh, all things are possible. And he has a habit of using broken people to do great things. Anyone can make a difference, no matter your faults, because none of us are perfect. But we can all make a difference. Some more than others, and sometimes you might not even realize the difference that you make. Because you could make an impression on someone else, and because of that impression that you made, they could go on to do something even bigger. And you may not even realize the impression that you made. That's why I always try and treat other people with kindness and love. I fail all the time because I'm human and I'm not perfect. But I try and keep that in mind, that you don't know what other people are going through. You don't know the difference that even just a smile could make. Be kind. Be kind to everyone. Try and help other people whenever you can. Because as much as hate is contagious, so is love. So if we love each other and we try and be kind and help each other out, it's contagious. And they could go on to do something great because of you. So that's my little tidbit for today. God uses broken people. So don't think that just because of your faults that you can't do something great. You can. And you may not even realize it. So I hope you all have a blessed Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom.